Everything was broken. Sirens screamed, steel doors were torn open like paper, bloodstains marked the hallway floors of Lab 9. Soldiers ran with weapons, shouting, "The beast is loose, lock down the base." But someone had already forgotten. A girl. In the middle of the disaster, she sat alone in the quiet observation room, eyes closed, head resting back, sleeping. Security footage showed the creature smashing its way through walls, faster and stronger than ever before. It had escaped its cage, a monster created on a death world, born to destroy. It was heading straight toward the girl. The control room buzzed with panic. "She's not moving," shouted one officer. "Wake her up." But the speaker was dead. No sound could reach her. On screen, the beast stepped into the room. It saw her. It stopped. The entire base held its breath, and then, in one smooth move, the girl lifted a chair with one hand and didn't even get up. A loud crack, a flash, and then silence. She was still sitting, still asleep. But the beast wasn't moving anymore. Rumors had always surrounded the girl. Strange whispers spoken in quiet corners of the base. Some said she was raised by monsters. Others claimed she once walked through fire without blinking. But no one ever truly believed. Until today. Her name was Kael. No rank, no unit. Just Kael. She didn't wear armor, didn't carry a weapon. She slept during most drills and ignored every rule. Many thought she was lazy, weak, a mistake. But Kael came from a place that the galaxy feared. A death world, where gravity crushed bones and creatures hunted in packs smarter than soldiers. She had survived there alone for years before humans found her. Still, no one understood how she survived, or why the beasts never attacked her. Now, with the escaped monster lying dead beside her chair, eyes wide open in shock, the truth became harder to ignore. Scientists reviewed the footage in slow motion again and again. She hadn't flinched. Hadn't opened her eyes. One whispered, "What kind of girl kills a death beast without standing?" No one had an answer. Not yet. The base was a fortress. Armed walls, energy shields, and trained guards everywhere. It was built to contain the deadliest life forms in the galaxy. But none of that mattered when the beast escaped. As panic spread like wildfire, Kael remained silent. Still in her chair, still asleep. Around her, lights flickered. The floor trembled under heavy footsteps. One of the guards watching the security feed muttered, "She's going to die." But Kael's breathing never changed. Not faster, not slower, just calm. Some began to wonder, was she faking it? Was she testing them? The beast entered the room, a 10-foot creature with claws sharp enough to slice steel. It paused, sniffed the air, its glowing eyes locked onto the girl. Instead of charging, it hesitated. It had killed 10 men on the way here. But now, something made it stop. In that still moment, Kael opened one eye, slowly, and she smiled. Not out of joy. Not out of madness, but because the beast had made a mistake. It thought she was the prey. It was wrong. The beast lunged. It moved like lightning, claws out, mouth open, ready to tear its next victim apart. Every watching soldier expected to see blood. But Kael didn't jump, didn't scream. She didn't even stand. With one smooth motion, she grabbed the metal chair she was sitting on, spun it in her hand, and swung. Crack! The sound echoed through the room like thunder. The chair hit the beast straight across the face. Bone shattered. Its body flew sideways into the wall, breaking it. Dust and sparks filled the air. The beast twitched once, then it was still. Kael sat back down. Calm. Eyes half open, like she might drift off again at any moment. In the control room, no one spoke. The technicians stared at the screen in stunned silence. One whispered, "Did she just kill that thing? With a chair?" Another officer stammered, "And she never stood up." Kael yawned, stretched her arms, and leaned back again. It wasn't just strength. It wasn't luck. It was control. And for the first time, the soldiers realized the monster wasn't the most dangerous thing in that room. Word spread faster than any transmission. Within hours, top command had the footage. Scientists, generals, and alien ambassadors all watched the same short clip. A girl defeating a death-class predator with a chair while half asleep. They didn't know her name, just her code file. Subject K, Death World Origin. She was listed as non-combat, low risk, no threat. That changed today. She's more than a survivor, one general said, rewinding the video again. She's a weapon. In a hidden office on a distant moon, a sharp-eyed intelligence officer leaned forward. "Find her," he said. "We need her before the enemy does." Back at the base, Kael sipped a hot drink like nothing had happened. Soldiers walked past her without making eye contact. Some saluted, others just stared. One young recruit whispered, "Did she really kill it with a chair?" Another replied, "No, she killed it with a warning." Kael smiled. She had lived her whole life ignored and underestimated. That was fine, because now the galaxy was watching, and it had no idea what it had awakened. Kael was invited, or rather summoned, to a classified research facility buried beneath the crust of a frozen moon. They called it Outpost Helix. From the outside it looked abandoned, but beneath the ice something strange was being kept alive and studied. Inside, she walked through clean metal corridors lined with security bots and scanning drones. But Kael barely looked around. Her eyes stayed half-closed, as if bored or thinking far ahead. A scientist in a white coat met her at the gate. "We've never had someone like you here," he said nervously. "We study monsters, but you beat one." Kael didn't reply. She only glanced at the thick steel doors ahead. Something behind them felt wrong. Not dangerous, different. "We want your help," the scientist continued. "The next generation of bio-beasts are evolving faster than expected. We can't control them. But maybe you can." Kael raised an eyebrow. "You built more?" He hesitated. "Yes, smarter, bigger. One of them even stopped responding to commands yesterday. We lost a researcher." Kael smiled faintly. "You didn't lose him. He was claimed." And the lights flickered. In the deepest part of Outpost Helix, far below the ice and steel, something stirred. Beast 43. It was unlike the others. Bigger, stronger, but most importantly, smarter. Cameras showed it watching the guards, memorizing their paths. It ignored food drops. It studied everything, and after the day Kael arrived, it stopped hiding. In its dark chamber, it scratched strange marks into the walls, symbols no one could read. The scientist thought it was random, but Kael saw them once and frowned. "It's trying to speak," she said quietly. "It's not just alive. It's awake." The lead scientist shook his head. "It's still in a cage. We've upgraded security. It can't escape." Kael didn't answer. She knew better. No cage holds something that understands fear. And now this beast had seen the footage of her, because somehow after the incident, the beast began requesting video access. And the chair scene was played 3 times. "It's watching me," Kael said. "It's not planning to attack." She turned to the wall where deep in the steel, new claw marks had appeared, shaped like a name. Kael. It began with silence. No alarms, no warnings, just a blackout. Every light in Outpost Helix blinked out at once. Security feeds went dark. Backup systems failed. The base, buried under miles of frozen rock, fell into pitch-black stillness. Then came the screaming. One by one, guards disappeared. No gunfire, no signs of struggle. Just vanishing bodies. and blood trails. Kael sat in the control center, surrounded by flickering monitors showing static. Her eyes were wide open now. "It's not escaping," she whispered. "It's hunting." The lead scientist rushed in, panic on his face. Beast 43 breached. Its containment. It destroyed the override panel from inside the walls. That's not possible. Kael stood slowly. "It's not just smarter," she said. "It's evolved beyond instinct. It waited for me to arrive." Doors slammed shut. Emergency locks hissed. The base's AI system triggered an auto-seal. Everyone was now trapped inside with it. From deep below, an unnatural howl echoed through the metal halls. Not rage, not pain. A call. Kael gripped the broken chair leg she carried like a sword. She looked into the dark and whispered, "So, round 2 begins." Darkness swallowed the base. No light, no sound except footsteps, slow and heavy, echoing through the halls. Kael walked alone, her shadow blending with the black. In her hand, the broken chair leg felt warm, almost alive. She didn't need cameras. She didn't need light. She could feel the beast watching. "Why are you following me?" she asked the air. A voice answered, not a growl, not a roar, but words. Deep, broken. "You are like me." Kael stopped. The voice came from everywhere and nowhere. Beast 43 was speaking. "I learned from you," it said. "Pain is not the end. Stillness is power." She narrowed her eyes. "You watched my fight. I studied it," the voice growled. "You killed to survive. I kill to evolve." Suddenly the air shifted. The floor groaned under massive weight. Then it lunged. Kael moved. Fast, low, perfect. Clang. The chair leg struck hard. Sparks flew. The two collided like titans in a forgotten myth. One born of blood, the other of fire and stillness. For the first time, Kael fought without holding back. And for the first time, the beast screamed. Silence followed the scream. Dust floated in the dim emergency light, now barely flickering back to life. Steel walls were bent. Cracks ran across the floor like veins. The entire hallway was a battlefield frozen in time. Kael stood in the center, blood on her arm, breathing steady. The broken chair leg was gone, shattered to splinters during the final strike. At her feet, Beast 43 lay still. Not destroyed, but defeated. Its glowing eyes dimmed, not from death, but understanding. "You didn't come to escape," Kael whispered. "You came to test me." The beast blinked once, then stopped moving. Moments later, soldiers rushed in, weapons ready, but they lowered them when they saw her. The scientists stared. No one spoke. One officer finally asked, "What are you, Kael?" Looked at the ceiling, then at the stars beyond. "I'm what happens when monsters raise a human," she said quietly, "and now I'm wide awake." From that day forward, they gave her a new name, not subject, not soldier, Sleeper Queen, and every time something escaped, every time something couldn't be stopped, they let her nap near it.